Okay, straight to the new camp scene of that Barca and Chelsea clash. We find Semra Hunter there. And Semra, of course, as we heard from Joe's report, there's a lot of history between these two teams. Is Barcelona buzzing for this match?
Robin, it absolutely is. There's definitely a mix of tension and excitement in the air. And I'll put it to you this way. I find it quite interesting that Antonio Conte talked about suffering here at the Camp Nou, because actually it's the Barcelona fans who have a very famous expression in Catalan which says, "Avui patirem," which means today we suffer. So talking to these fans, you really get a sense that on the one hand, they're feeling quite confident because Barcelona really are the superior team between the two, which I'll come back to in just a second. But on the other hand, they're definitely a bit nervous about after what happened in 2012, and they're a bit wary that history could repeat itself here again today. So when I talk about Barcelona being the better team, well, what I mean by this is the following. So they're top of the table in La Liga at the moment. They're the only team left in the top 5 European leagues to have yet to lose a single game this season in the domestic league competition as well as the Champions League, and they're one of 5 teams left in Europe who could still win the treble. Now, the case for Chelsea is quite different. They're 5th in the Premier League at the moment, and this really could prove to be last chance saloon for them here today if they want to try and stay in the Champions League for next season. However, if you want to look at the previous meetings between them, you could say that there is some favourable chances towards Chelsea in this particular matchup. Chelsea have gone unbeaten against Barcelona in the last 8 matches, 4 of which were right here in the Camp Nou. And if you take into account what Busquets said, which I do think he's quite right on this one, the best team doesn't always win.
And Barcelona, of course, have a very crucial first leg away goal. How much is that going to count in Barca's favour? And also, where do you think the game is going to be won or lost?
Well, that goal is absolutely crucial for Barcelona because all they really need to get today is a 0-0 result. And with that, it's good enough to send them through to the quarterfinals. So where it's going to come down to, personally, I think Chelsea really need to capitalise on their counter-attacking opportunities that they could have with Willian and with Eden Hazard. Of course, Willian has been on fire for Chelsea lately, scoring 5 goals in 5 games. And so they really need to make sure, though, that they don't make any more defensive mistakes, just like they did in that first leg when Messi punished them quite heavily for that. When it comes to Barcelona, I do think it's going to come down to 2 men in particular. The first one, Lionel Messi. The second one, Andres Iniesta, if in fact he does play tonight. Now, I say Messi because he's Messi, of course, but he was rested at the weekend against Malaga. He did have paternity leave. His wife just had another son. So because he didn't play in that game, he's going to have a lot fresher legs than perhaps some of his teammates. And given that he scored finally against Chelsea for the first time in 9 appearances, no doubt he'll be hungry to score even more. And when it comes to Iniesta, well, of course, we have to wait and see if he'll be able to play. Valverde did say that he wouldn't play him unless he was 100% fit and ready to go. But if he does, he's absolutely crucial. And I say this because he's the man that controls the pace of the ball in the midfield and for the whole team as well. So we know that Barcelona like to play a possession-based, quick-paced style of football. But under Valverde as well this year, they've really mixed it up with attacking intent as well. So I think we may not see the most beautiful style of play from these two teams, but I definitely think we'll see the most efficient and effective from these two sides to try and get the job done.
It does feel like all the markings are there for a very interesting clash. Appreciate that at the new camp. Semra Hunter, thank you.